Do you find that your integrity as a person and your values as a person, this is when it counts?
More than ever. More than ever, this is a moment where you have to be, at least for me, this is the moment where I have to be the most authentic possible. This is the moment where I have to fight most. This is the moment where maybe people need me most. I have a coffee shop. I'm not saving the world, but yet sometimes it's just like that cup of coffee or that smile or that interaction with someone or just that sentence that the customer said that is enough, to make your day. So people sometimes do thank me about, thank you for opening Levant. Thank you for doing this event. Thank you for doing what you're doing, no matter what it is. And I think this is what keeps me going here.
This episode is proudly brought to you by Mapper Forward's workshop, It's Time to Become a Coffee Consultant. Learn how to diversify your revenue streams and create freedom from your day job while saying goodbye to that alarm clock forever by becoming a consultant within the coffee industry or directly to consumers who have shifted towards home brewing and home roasting. Protect your income from challenging times in the coffee value chain by taking this course today. Go to mapperforward.coffee/workshops or click the link in the show notes for details.
Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Mapper Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is episode 4 of a 5-part series with Joseph Sayegh from Levant Cafe in Beirut, Lebanon. We're talking about adapting and surviving as a business in times of crisis. And at this moment, the crisis we're talking about is the war in Gaza, which turned into the war in Lebanon. And we've covered a lot of aspects of this discussion. We've talked about it from the perspective of you as a business owner, Joseph. We've talked about it from the perspective of how you approach decision-making and how you take action. And we've talked about your staff and how you guys worked as a team through this. But we haven't quite talked about your customers yet in detail. And it was interesting because I recently, I wanted to know more about your business. So I contacted someone who I know lives in Beirut. Shout out to Nicholas Tort. I contacted him. He's a comedian there, fantastic comedian if anyone's looking for a good comedian. But I asked him about Levant. And what was really great to hear is how well revered Levant is. So the reason I asked the question of him was because I knew that he didn't know my connection to you. And I just randomly said, hey, have you heard of this Cafe Levant? And without skipping a beat, he knew the cafe, and his neighbor is constantly goes to your cafe, etc., etc. So it seems like in the year and a half that you've been there, you have this connection with your customers. That means that even during wartime, you are a revered brand for them. Tell me about your customers.
My customers, I love my customers. The interesting part about my customers is that I've opened in September 2023, and I did an opening event, and I invited my friends.
Mm-hmm.
And we were maybe about 60, 70 people around. And then a year later, I did the 1-year anniversary of Levant. And then for doing that 1-year anniversary, I started listing all my regular customers to invite them to celebrate with us, because the regular customers became friends. Friends that I have their numbers, I have them on social media. We bump into each other in the street. We really built a connection. And so I invited them, and on the 1-year anniversary, I have like this same picture taken in front of Levant with everyone around. But what was different is that on the opening, the 60, 70 people were people like I knew or like friends of friends. And on the 1 year anniversary, we were also maybe even more than 70, 80 people. And I think about 90 to 95% of them, I did not know them a year ago. And it was like
Wow.
all of them, the people of Levant, as I like to call them.
The people of Levant.
Of Levant, they are so diverse, and they all love Levant for different reasons.
Mm.
And some of them, like maybe the main reason or the one that is really in common to all of them is that, and that's something that a customer told me 2 days ago, as we were doing like a poetry evening and we started to introduce each other. She's a regular, and she said like, Levant is home for me.
Oh,
And
wow.
this is such a powerful statement
Mm.
because it's for them, it's not a coffee shop. It's a place where they feel like they're at home.
Mm.
And this, like I was so grateful and so touched by this, and made me realize how much like the customers love Levant. And they don't see this like as just a coffee shop. It's like a place where they feel at home.
You as a business owner who's trying to navigate this crisis, this war, and trying to figure out how you extend the runway for this business, because the shifts and changes we don't know when this is going to end. What does it feel for you, and how does it energize you, other than necessarily, like, let's dig into it being powerful. What does that do for you with regards to business strategy and, you know, how much you want to create for the future for this business?
When you have like a plan in your head and then something comes to um, change this plan or disturb it in a way,
Mhm.
try to go back to what was behind the plan, you know? So I did have some ideas for Levant, but what was behind that means like, what are the values that I was trying to share? And how can I go back to these values in times of war? So the result is not the same, but the values, they don't change no matter what
Mm.
the factors are, no matter if you're going through a war or a crisis or not. And for me, Levant's value are about, you know, being authentic, but also modern at the same time, having the sense of community. It's a place of art and culture, and it's a social space. And so this, in times of before the war, would mean something, but then during war means something else
Mm.
in terms of what do you do, but then the core is still the same. And so this is how I'm trying to navigate it now. It's like, how can I stick to my values of Levant, but in times of war?
So,
And this is
so when you're standing there at a poetry night that's happening in a cafe with 10 people there, and you've got all of this, like, nobody really looks at the business owner and says, I wonder what he's thinking right now. But I want to know, what are you thinking right now when you are in that room and you're watching all of this happen? But also inside of you, you're like, I've got to make a payroll. I've got to pay for all the cakes. I've got to figure out what the strategy is going to be. And you're having this very special moment when you hear of somebody that says, Levant is home to me. This is a really, like, some people turn around and go, oh, that's really lovely. But now this is an extra burden for you as a business owner, as well as it being a really lovely thing, because you have to keep this home open. So when you got to keep this home open, how do you approach a moment like that within yourself as a business owner?
the fact that people feel at home at Levant is can be seen as a burden. For me, it's such a blessing. We had stopped doing any type of gathering and events since the escalation started. So it's been about maybe 5-6 weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
But then we realized that people needed it. We were a bit paralyzed there, and we did not want to do any type of gathering or event because we felt that it was gonna be maybe not the right time, or uh, it's a bit how to say this, like it's not the right moment for
Right, inappropriate or
exactly. But then we realized how much people were sending us messages on social media telling us, we miss Levant, we miss you guys.
right.
Please do something to gather us again. And so we started with this poetry evening. We were about 10 people, and it was such a lovely, much needed event. It was really healing in a way, because out of the 10 people that were here, maybe 6 or 7 people come from the areas that are currently being bombed in Lebanon.
Wow.
They come from south, from the Bekaa Valley, from Hermel. Most of them, actually all of them, are currently displaced, and yet they did come to Beirut for this gathering because it was much needed for them. And so at the end of the gathering, I was like, okay, like now I understand. It's these people who I thought would find an event maybe inappropriate. Actually, these are the ones who came at the event, and these are the ones that needed this type of gathering most.
Mm-hmm.
And so this replaced, like made me rethink about, okay, what is Levant's role in during this time? And I think it has to be a place where people can come to seek comfort, come to escape a bit reality, to heal, to think about something else, to realize that they're not alone in this. And I think that this is the role that Levant's going to be playing in the coming weeks or months, and maybe even years,
Long
you
term.
know.
And we're going to talk about business strategy and planning in the next episode. So we'll dig much deeper into that. One thing that strikes me as I hear you talking about this and we start thinking about the customer is that your decision when you opened Levant to approach this as a business that runs lean means that you can make these decisions on the fly and continue with your business strategy as it has been, and you continue listening to your customer. As you know, you try things, the customer gives you information, it sounds like you're devoted to listening to what they need while still maintaining your values and your offerings as a business. How has your customer in that process, how have they changed in the way that they let you know about things, or just changed in general?
So unfortunately, most of the customers, of the regular ones, aren't in Beirut, or they left. So I'm kind of re-meeting new customers. Maybe some of those who used to come every week or every day are not here anymore, but there are some new customers who I'm discovering, or are coming more and more often. People who used to come maybe once a month or once a week are coming almost on a daily basis. So what I try to think about is the same way I've lost some customers and friends because they left the country. Maybe they also have some people around them who left, and so we need to rearrange maybe our socials, or the way we are behaving in these types of situation. So for the new people who I'm meeting again, the customers that are coming, maybe some of them are now living in this area because it seems to be relatively safer than other areas in Beirut. So I talk with them, I interact with them, I try to understand like what is making them come back. And this is what we need to focus on at the moment is they need a place where they feel safe, where they feel comfort, where they feel that they were able for a certain amount of time to think about something else and maybe escape reality, maybe heal by just reading a poem on one of the books I have at Levant. And at the moment.
Do you find that your integrity as a person and your values as a person, this is when it counts?
More than ever. More than ever, this is a moment where you have to be, at least for me, this is the moment where I have to be the most authentic possible. This is the moment where I have to fight most. This is the moment where maybe people need me most. I have a coffee shop. I'm not saving the world, but yet sometimes it's just like that cup of coffee or that smile or that interaction with someone or just that sentence that the customer said that is enough, to make your day. So people sometimes do thank me about, thank you for opening Levant. Thank you for doing this event. Thank you for doing what you're doing, no matter what it is. And I think this is what keeps me going here.
Because it's not a movie, right? Like it's not as though just the things that are in front of you are the only things that are happening. It's not just what we see on social media that's happening. Life still is moving. People are still waking up, having breakfast, trying to figure out how to fill their day and do things in their day. And people want to feel safe. And it sounds as though the values that you started with a year and a half ago and the intentionality that you had with your business is now, because you didn't just all of a sudden become this new thing. You didn't shift your values to meet the crisis. You continued doing what you're doing the whole time, right?
100%.
And that's where people look for safety in times of crisis. People who haven't been bullshitting them the whole time. That's when it makes sense more than ever, and it's clear more than ever who's been lying and who hasn't been lying about their intentionality towards their customers. Have your customers that aren't in the country, have they been in contact with you?
We are constantly in contact through social media.
I figured.
Back always to the stories, to the posts I'm putting. They send messages. I also talk with them. I make sure, I just ask about them, how they're doing and everything. And it's reconforting to see that, this family is still here. It's a bit scattered, but if we start doing some types of gatherings, for example, usually the gatherings or events I do at Levant are usually during the evening, mid. But it seems that because of everything happening, I have to do them during the day, maybe on weekends, because these are the moments where people can come to Beirut safely. So this is one of the ways, I'm trying also to bring a bit the community together.
Yeah, awesome. And I again, I have a really great feeling about the future of the brand as it continues to grow. You're building good bones for the business, as they say. So we have one episode left to go, folks, and we're going to talk about business planning pre this crisis and how this crisis showing up has impacted the way that Joseph gets to look at the future of his business. And we're talking about that from a long-term perspective. We're talking about it from you have plans for a business when you start it. How does something like what Joseph's going through shift that perspective as a business owner. So join us for the last episode in this series. Peace, love, and peanut butter. Have an amazing rest of your day.
I really hope you enjoyed this episode, friends. Please don't forget to show us some love by subscribing, liking, commenting, and most of all, sharing this podcast with your friends. Check the show notes for links, including our sponsors and our Patreon, and stay tuned for more great conversations on the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward.